Hello, it's Chat with JP time. And look who I've got with me today. It's local football legend, Peter Ward. Wardy, how are you, mate? All right?
I'm all right, John. How are you?
I'm champion, tar. I'll start off. Most of you know anyway, but Peter's been the manager of many clubs, including Hanley Town, Nantwich, Alsager, Stalybridge, Southport, you name it, and this lad's probably managed them. And he's also all the best players in Staffordshire, I think, have played for you at one time or another. Anyway, what we want to know is how did your passion start for football, Peter?
Yeah, well, I suppose a lot of people don't know this, John, but as a youngster, I had a problem with my heart. And, obviously in my school days, I couldn't really do any PE or football or cricket or anything like that, And then when I got to the age, I kept on having 6 monthly checks. And then eventually, obviously, everything cleared up. I was about 13, 14. And I was at William Southern. And from that moment
What, did you go William Southern?
Yeah.
I went William Southern.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Got good lads at William Southern.
Yeah.
But,
good Catholic lads.
Yeah, good Catholic lads.
Let's move on.
Yeah, I was an altar boy as a kid as well.
Mate.
There you go. Yeah, But obviously, I sort of went into football. Played for obviously William Southern's football team, cricket team, and I was a little fat lad. I was, because obviously I hadn't done anything regarding physical football,
Got you.
What happened was I got into it and I started playing football, cricket, basketball, table tennis, and I got reasonably good at it because I really wanted to do these things, and I played for Ryan Hall table tennis, and we travelled all around the potteries playing local teams. But and then obviously I got involved with youth club football, RSC Youth Club.
So how old were you then, Peter?
I was 16.
Got you. Yeah.
I was 16 when I got involved with RSC, and I was at Patmore Youth Club, and I used to know the manager of RSC Football Club, Ruben Austin. And I said to Ruben, look, if ever we get a game missing, give us, can I come and play for you? And he'd say, look, if you have any games postponed, come and play with us. And there's a lad named me and Graham Gregory. We both played for Patmore Youth Club, and then we'd go and play for RSC, if the games were off. And then obviously it progressed from there, really. Youth clubs. I can remember I was playing for RSC Youth Club, and we played Miners Kids Grove.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Again, that's I played for Miners.
Yeah,
Me, Jeff Harrison.
Yeah.
Jeff Key, Johnny.
It was on the pitch by the, down on the road there on the left-hand side.
Vickers and Goodwin.
Vickers and Goodwin, yeah.
Horrible pitch.
Crap pitch. We played on there, and then a lad named Keith Snape, who was involved with English Electric.
Yeah.
And they were in the Mid-Cheshire League then. And Keith came along, and he'd obviously watched me. And he just said, would you fancy coming down English Electric, and Kids Grove and English Electric used to share the players, really, all the good players, or what I term good players, played for Kids Grove or played for English Electric. And then one year they be playing for English Electric and then for Kids Grove. So it was an accumulative thing where I started playing for English Electric, played in the reserves, I was captain in the reserves, and we won the county league.
So would that be sort of the first trophy you won as an adult, Will?
Yeah, as an adult, that was the first trophy I won. I don't know whether people have seen it, but there's a photograph going about with me getting presented with the County League Shield.
No doubt it's on local football.
Well, it has been on local football,
brilliant.
Yeah. So, that was really, really good. And then, obviously, I progressed into the first team, really.
Was that the one that you were awarded, if memory serves me, by Roy Sproson?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, got it, yeah.
Roy Sproson presented the trophy, and obviously, I think I was 17 then, and obviously just making my way in non-league football.
Yeah.
And then, obviously with English Electric, I progressed on through there, and, I won a lot of trophies, sort of local trophies as a player,
In fact, you've always been a winner, Peter.
Yeah, well,
from a young age, like saying, as a player.
Yeah.
So as most of the guys here know, you've been a very successful manager, and perhaps a lot of people out there didn't know as much about you actually when you played.
No, but
this is a good few years ago.
Yeah, but it was always a situation where I wanted to play with better players.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it was like the opportunity at English Leicester, because bear in mind in them days, Mid Cheshire was a decent standard of football,
absolutely,
you know. But you start off in the reserves,
Yeah.
and then you work your way through, and fortunately I did that. And then obviously I moved on to, where did I go to? I ended up, well, I played for English Leicester for quite some time, and then Sunday football came into the reckoning, and I ended up playing for Patmore. Mickey Pedgick run a team in Patmore, and I used to play for them on a Sunday morning, and then I played for a team called Burslem Atlanteans in the afternoon. So
where were they run from, Peter?
They were run from Riley Arms in
they used to have good teams as well.
Well, we had good sides. We had good players. You know, Tony Davies there, who'd been around a little bit at the time.
Yeah.
Tony was a good centre forward, and we had lots of good players. And it was like, for me, it was like I wanted to play, but I wanted to play in a good side.
Yeah. You wanted to progress as far as you possibly could.
Yeah, you know, and then from there on Sundays I moved to the Hazelhurst. You know, and
Hazelhurst up Chow.
Yeah, and we obviously the Potteries and District League, which was a real good league. You know, and I was fortunate enough. Alan Kelly was the manager.
Oh yeah.
And Alan Kelly was one of my heroes. He played for Milton United. You know, and I used to watch Cal play, and I used to watch him, and he never gave the ball away. And I just thought, if you don't give the ball away, you come off as a good player.
Yeah.
And I picked that up. I know it sounds daft, but
no, it doesn't.
I used to think to myself,
it's serving an apprenticeship, Peter.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, like, you know, I become a better player with Alan Kelly as my manager, really. But yeah, you know, we moved into the Potteries and District League, and then just going briefly through my career, ended up we had a playoff at Sidaway in Stoke. In them days you didn't have goal difference or goal average, if you like, and Hazelhurst had conceded 14, and Copestick and Fowler, who was second, had conceded 18, and we had to play a playoff. And Copestick and Fowler won, and unfortunately I did my cruciate in that game. You know, so obviously regarding my football then, it was just really rehabilitation, getting myself back. And I didn't play a lot after that because obviously I couldn't really play
So
properly.
how old were you then, Peter?
I was probably about 27, 28 then, you know, 29. And then obviously I was always thinking what happens after football.
Yeah.
And I just felt that, you know, I needed to go into management.
You wanted to stay in the game, but you still wanted to be a winner, and you still wanted to be with winners.
Yeah, and I wanted good players with me because I'd played with good players. Yeah. And it was like, you know, if I'm going to do a job, I'm going to go after the best players if I'm going to be involved in management. Brilliant. You know.
So, what was your first team that you actually managed, Peter?
Kidsgrove Athletic Reserves.
So you went straight into a good side, basically.
Yeah.
Kidsgrove. I mean, I'm from Kidsgrove, so I would say.
I'm a Kidsgrove lad, John.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was born just up the road from Galley.
Well, you know the Ascot Street.
Yeah.
You know the little shop that was on the corner. Remember, as you're going halfway up.
Yeah, of course I do. Yeah.
Well, down that street.
Simpsons and Stonias was on your left.
Well,
Chip shop on your right.
You've got it.
Yeah,
well,
of course,
I was down that street down there.
No, exactly
there, you know. So I was a Kidsgrove lad myself.
Didn't know that.
No, but there you go. See.
Yeah.
So
some good lads down Kidsgrove, Peter, over the years.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, all the lads I played with, they were top draw players.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm talking about like minors.
Yeah.
You know, not teams that you big names, not big. You know.
That's right.
They were like teams where, and you just think to yourself, he's a good player. He's a good player. He's a good player. I mean, I played for Kidsgrove and District.
Yeah.
You know, and I broke my leg at Kidsgrove and District, but the number of players they had there, you know, there was Freddie Batho, there was like Alan Vickers, Tony Blood, Philip Blood. Yeah.
Alan Vickers.
Yeah, Philip Blood, you know, Tony Osey and
Alan Vickers. He had the best elbows in football.
Yeah, he was good at that, Alan. Yeah, God rest his soul. But,
yeah,
you know,
brilliant player, brilliant player.
Yeah, so, you know, you were playing amongst what you'd call who you admired.
Yeah.
You know, I never considered myself like, you know, a big player. I just thought to myself, God, I'm playing with these lads and these are good footballers. And I'm probably not
It's called humility. And this lad's got it.
Yeah.
He's been a fantastic player, he's been a fantastic manager, and Luke, brilliant.
Yeah.
So we're into your first team of management.
Yeah, Kidsgrove Athletic, and Willie Maley was the manager, remember
I don't remember that name.
Ex-Everton goalkeeper.
Oh right.
Yeah,
He managed the first team.
Crew Alexander, he was in charge. him and Peter. Anyway, they were in charge, and I was running the reserves, and we were top of the league.
Yeah.
And then the night before we go to Intex, they were second,
Yeah.
and we have to win the game. He took 6 players off me.
Oh, for going the first team.
But me, and I'll be honest with you, and people think I might be wrong, but I just thought I've got 6 of my players in the first team. And then
Yeah,
that day,
absolutely.
I was still playing as much as I could. Me and Alan Vickers turned out. And
Because you were both managing the second
we
team.
were both
that
managing
week.
the reserve
Got
team.
you.
And both of us turned out on that day because we got players short. We went to Intex, we had to win. And we ended up getting the draw, and the referee gave a penalty. I've gone bananas. I've said to the referee, I've said, listen, ref, it's no fucking way a penalty. You know.
As
and
you do.
Yeah. And then he, come here, son, and he took my name. Well, in them days, I probably shouldn't say this, but we used to have a player or 2 players registered that weren't actually. So I'd come off, and the referee said to me, he said, what's your name? I said, such and such a body. And he said, well, such and such a body, you're off.
Yeah.
So as I'm going off, Alan Vicker parks up. What the effing hell are you doing, ref? You can't do that. And he comes to me, and he comes to Alan and says, right, son, what's your name? He said, Peter Ward. So I'm walking off, and I can hear Alan saying Peter Ward. And so you can imagine the reaction, like,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And obviously, anyway, we drew the game, and we lost the league. But obviously it was an incentive for me because we'd ended up second in the league, you know. So yeah, little stories that you perhaps don't even know about, you know. But yeah.
So moving on from Kids Go Athletic,
Yeah.
then we can just briefly go through some of the teams I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
You know, can you list some of the trophies that you've won as a manager, Peter?
Yeah, I won the Staff Senior Cup 5 times.
5 times?
Yeah.
But all with the same team or different teams?
Yeah, I think 4 of them. Yeah, most of them with Kids Go. Yeah, you know.
Brilliant.
I won the Chester Senior Cup with Stalybridge. Won the Liverpool Senior Cup with Southport.
Did you, sorry to interrupt you, Peter, but when you went Southport, did you take many players from this area with you? Or?
We had 2 or 3 players. I went as assistant with Phil Wilson to Southport,
Right.
and we took Stevie Jones with us, who was a local lad from Alma End. You know, he'd come, and Stevie was a great midfield player. You know, he'd box to box, score goals, and we took him, and then you know, we ended up winning. Where did we go? What did we win? We won the Liverpool Senior Cup at Southport. Oh, and we were in the conference then.
Yeah.
So obviously we were in the conference. Before that, we'd been at Stalybridge, and we got Stalybridge promoted and won the treble. We won the League Cup, the Cheshire Senior Cup, and the league. You know, and we won that. And obviously because we were probably getting a little bit famous, if you like.
Yeah.
Not so much me, but Phil as well, you know. And
Exactly what you're saying.
they came in, Southport came in and said, look, we want you to come. So we'd actually got Stalybridge promoted and moved to Southport straight away.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was magnificent, really, you know. And I moved along with Phil for a few years because, you know, he was a good. Where I got the connection with Phil was when we were at Nantwich. Because I wanted good players, I used to phone managers up who were in higher levels, and I'd speak to them and say, look, is anybody there we could, or do you know anybody, and we got this connection with Phil. And then as soon as, you know, obviously went to Leek, and eventually I got the sack at Leek, you know, which I think...
Oh, it's part of management.
I think all managers get the sack.
Absolutely.
But obviously Phil came in for me, you know.
Yeah.
We weren't bottom of the league, we just won the league there, the league above now that Leek are in, step 3. I just won that at Leek myself.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously Phil had seen that and he took me Stalybridge with him, you know. Obviously I was out of work, hadn't got a job. I know Phil from way back and, you know, he did that. So, yeah, so that was enjoyable. And then we moved to Lancaster and Phil went from Lancaster, what would it be? Probably 8 or 9 games into the season, and he went to Barrow, and he said to me, he said, "Do you fancy Barrow?" Now, I travel into Lancaster every week, every 3 days a week. I'm, training and God knows what. We're traveling to Lancaster. And I said, no, Phil. And Lancaster had asked me to carry on with the job. We were in the Northern Conference then, Lancaster were. So, obviously, we won. I think we won the Lancashire Cup with Lancaster. And then I sort of, the travelling was really getting me down a little bit, and I had an approach from Kidsgrove Athletic again, who I'd actually been with earlier,
Yes.
I know we're moving on a little bit, but I'm trying to be, if we can get a story out of it, then fair enough, So then I had a guy from Kidsgrove phone me up and say, look, Pete, we're struggling, would you come and help us out,
Was that still Manchester League at that point, Pete?
Yeah, no, they were doing step 4.
Oh, right,
They
okay.
were doing step 4.
Yeah.
So obviously I went back to Kidsgrove and they were in trouble and got them out of trouble, really.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it was just a bit of organisation. We had what I think were good players, and it was just somebody really maybe to get them organised, and I've always said in football, if you can't win a game, you make it hard to to lose a game.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that for me is something that I've carried away all the way through. If you can't win a game, don't lose it.
Yeah.
And it's a philosophy I've used, and I just think I know there's all sorts of things going on in football now, John. Technology. Everybody gives you stats and everybody.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, once they cross that line, mate, it's down to them to actually do it. So if you've done your preparation right, then obviously you're going to get something right on the football pitch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's how it works for me. Yeah.
Well, it's worked very well for you, Peter.
Yeah, it has.
And there's been a lot of the characters that Peter's come across. I mean, we'd be here all day, and we will, Peter, have to do a follow up from this.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do a follow up, and we're going to do a live stream, and then anybody out there who wants to ask Peter a question, whatever, it'll come up on the screen, and you can answer your questions. We might even do a night with Peter at one of the clubs, if he's up for that, where we can really grill him then, can't we, on what he's been up to and what he hasn't. But yeah, I mean, the characters in the game, I mean, obviously coming from Kidsgrove, I can mention a few. We've already mentioned one, Alan Vickers. There's another one, Siddy Sides. Sid will be watching. How are you, Sid? All right.
I said.
Yeah, he's another good lad, Sid. Did you ever work with Sid at any point?
Never worked with him, but worked.
Because he's managed Newcastle Town, you've managed Newcastle Town.
He'd be at Newcastle, I'd be at Kidsgrove. He'd be at Kidsgrove, I'd probably be at Newcastle.
Yeah.
That's how it worked, But Sid, I can remember, a lot of people don't know as well with Sid, he went to Droylsden,
Yes.
And he's really successful at Droylsden.
Well, Sid again, very successful, hasn't he, Ben? He's won quite fair. No, I don't think he's won as many as you. We'll check that one out.
He's won a few trophies,
at
the end of the day, and he's been involved with football for years.
And what a lovely guy.
Well,
like your good self.
Yeah, we get on
fantastic.
With him. I don't see much of him now, but when we see one another, we have a bit of an hug and a love.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you think about what Sid's done, it's in the blood.
Yeah.
It's in the blood. If you're not 100%, you might as well not do it.
I think the one thing, probably the big thing you've got in common with Sid, you're both grafters. You both work hard. People out there who thinks this comes easy, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
If you're going to be successful in business, if you're going to be successful in sport, you've got to graft and you've got to work hard. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
There's no shortcuts.
No.
People think there are, but there ain't.
Well, I always use the phrase, some people play at it.
Yeah.
And, you can't play at it if you're involved.
Right.
And, at the moment I'm on the management team at Congleton, just going.
Yeah.
But, it's 24/7, John.
Yeah.
And I'm only on the management team.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, obviously the manager, obviously we talk about Duff's perhaps a bit later, but you've got to be at it, mate. And if you're not on that phone and you're not talking and you're building your network up, your network is massive in football. You can. And I'm not one.
That's where a lot of work comes in, isn't it? What goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You're on the training ground, especially if you're hands-on manager like your good self. you're looking at players, you're working hard on the training ground, and then when that's finished, you're at it again then,
Yeah.
doing the backroom stuff.
Well, you're preparing
Yeah,
for what's
absolutely.
happened last Saturday. 2-3 players got injured,
Yeah.
or you've got, get players in, and you've got, you need to know what's going on around the local scene. But the more you put yourself about,
Yes.
and if there's managers watching, it might be a bit of advice. You've got to work at it, and you've got to build your network up.
Absolutely.
If networking is the most important part of it, because
Very similar to business. It's just the same.
yeah, I'll go watch a game, and occasionally, because people know me, I get invited in perhaps the director's room, and the stuff that you find out in a director's room about what's happening with their team, what's happening with it, and people are saying he's moving here, he's moving there, and your ears are switched on all the time, and then you meet people, so obviously you get their number, and it's another contact, but you've got to do it now. I know people are. And I'm not against it at all, because people look at VOs nowadays. It's all VOs.
Yeah.
But for me, I like going and watch a game.
Absolutely.
I like looking at the game. I like looking at the way the teams are playing, what they're doing when the ball's up there, and what's going on behind here, all that sort of stuff. But it's the modern way forward now, and it is useful. The VO is very useful, and a lot of people use it. But the football's changed, hasn't it, John?
Yeah, I mean, you've kept up with it, Peter. You've kept your enthusiasm, you've kept your passion, and at times it must have been hard, because the way you've been successful is this sort of hard graft and getting through it. And it seems to me that nowadays people want to take shortcuts.
Yeah.
You don't want to put in the miles that you have to put in, whether it's miles, physical miles, or miles.
Yeah.
And I think you've got to. The successful players, as I've come across, they've all had to work hard at it.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at probably the best player in the world, or certainly right up there, Ronaldo. You hear the stories about this guy.
Yeah.
First in training, last out, watching videos, doing tricks, working on his game all the time.
And still doing it now.
He's still got the passion. He doesn't need the money.
No.
He hasn't needed money for many years.
No.
But I mean, that's another thing we can talk about. Do you think the big money, I mean, some of the players that you've talked about, that you've had under you, I mean, these lads were playing for nothing.
Well, that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well,
it says now.
Obviously when I was playing and when I was managing, I used to go after the best players.
Yeah.
And it wasn't hard, John. There were so many of them.
Yeah.
There were so many of them, and I think I've touched on this with you when we were on the phone the other night. In them days, you used to have the Bursman and Tunstall League, the Hanley League, the Fenton League, the Longton League, North Staffs Alliance League, and you had all these leagues where kids were playing football, and they probably weren't, how can I say, they weren't all good players, but you had an abundance to choose from.
Yeah.
That was the difference. You haven't got that now.
I mean, getting like myself, I was 16. I mean, now they're still children at 16.
Yeah.
I was playing in the county league for Beersham Albion at 16.
There you go.
And I sort of looked at people who were like 25 and thinking they were old men,
I know.
And yet these guys that were in my sort of time, I played for, as you know, I played for Beersham Albion, I played for Port Vale. But then I started managing for Ali Comfrey C&C Supermarket, so I had to give up Saturday football.
Yeah.
Because there was no money in Saturday football, particularly.
Not at all, no.
But there was money in supermarkets. And I started running my own business. But I carried on playing Sunday football, which in them days, I don't know whether you'll concur with this, Peter, but Saturday football, serious. Took it very serious.
Yeah, you're right.
Sunday football, you go out with your mates and have a bloody good time.
You enjoyed the game.
Oh, I mean, I played for Kids Go Queens with some great lads, John Regula, Tony Hargreaves, Norman Price, and then I went to Clough Hall. What a bloody group they were, Clough Hall.
Yeah.
Mickey Lithgow, he'll be watching, Mick. You all right, Mick? Mickey Lithgow, Steve Booth, all these sorts of guys. And I've got mentioned one manager here, Brian Cam. Did you know Cam?
Yeah, I know Cammy. Yeah.
Cammy. I'll tell one story about Cammy, right? And then we'll go on to telling some about these characters. So we've all, or what you may not have done, but certainly our age group knows about the magic sponge.
Yeah.
That's a trainer comes on with a bucket, carry a bucket of water with a sponge in it. Doesn't matter whether you've got an head injury,
no,
a broken leg. Doesn't matter. The magic sponge will put it
It
right.
sorts it out. Yeah.
So Cammy's caught one in the crown
Yeah,
jewels, hasn't he?
yeah,
He's
yeah.
lying on the floor moaning. I think it's Greggy runs on with the magic sponge. Cammy, the man of one-liners wanting McCliff go. Take away the pain, but leave the swelling.
yeah.
But sorry, you
Brilliant
can't.
story. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. No, the
Characters, really.
yeah,
mate. Characters.
they play for nothing. They
Yeah.
play for nothing, and they actually paid subs.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
you
run,
actually
run the
go-
card.
you,
Run the
you-
card.
you have to do something,
Yeah.
and like you know, but all around the potteries, there was great teams.
Yeah.
Thurston had a good team. Parkway had a good team. Kidsgrove and District.
Yeah.
Miners Arms.
Miners Arms.
Yeah,
Melton,
you know.
Melton United,
yeah.
Abbey Alton.
All of them
Yeah.
had good players.
And every pub had it. I mean, the pub teams, like I say, Clough Hall Hotel, the Queens, you know, you name it, and they'd all have a Sunday team. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I don't know how many people were playing football on a Sunday, Peter, but it was a massive amount.
Well,
wasn't it,
yeah,
Sundays?
but it came about, didn't it? The first thing that happened was the Potteries and District League, because
How many leagues were in that? Was it 4 or 5?
Yeah, well, it started off with one league,
Yeah.
didn't it? Now, just to tell you a story about that, Mickey Birch, who played for me at Hamley Town, he used to play for Taylor and Tunnicliffe. And
Right.
Taylor and Tunnicliffe, they were one of the top sides in the Sunday League,
Yeah.
in the Potteries and District League. And they had a guy called John China running him, right? Now, John China,
Wasn't old, was he?
he
No, that was my old channel.
yeah, that was my old China. Yeah, you got it. No, John China was he took over Taylor and Tunnicliffe's, and the signing on fee with Taylor and Tunnicliffe. Yeah.
No, just when you make, we
Yeah,
go,
a bit dodgy,
just
yeah,
come over a
yeah,
bit here,
yeah,
Peter.
yeah.
We might be losing you. Just
Yeah,
come over
well-
a little bit. So you're on camera, mate.
Yeah. Well, the signing on fee.
I'll move the camera.
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry
yeah,
about that.
the
Go on.
signing on fee was either a brand new Triumph Toledo,
Yeah.
or you could have your house fitted with central heating.
All
And
right.
Mickey Birch, who was playing for Hamley Town at the time,
Yeah.
because they played Saturday and then you played Sunday. You did it. It was automatic. Good players were playing Saturday and Sunday
Yeah.
that day.
Yeah.
And Mickey Cook rolled up one day at Hamley Town with this brand new blue Triumph Toledo. You know,
Yeah.
and it had been given to him by the club.
Sponsored,
Yeah,
yeah.
sponsored, yeah,
Yeah.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, and then eventually John China obviously they sussed him out,
Yeah.
and he ended up doing a little bit of time somewhere, like, you know. But he took a lot of the players that were playing for Thurston at the time and Hamley to a team called Moulton in Cheshire.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he won a team from there, and then obviously they must have found out about him, and he spent a bit of time elsewhere. But yeah, just to tell you about Sunday football, but the players were that good.
Yeah.
They were good, you know.
Let me tell you another little story, because I know Roy Eyre will be watching.
Right.
You know, when you were going back to names,
Yeah.
Roy, we were at Vale the other week, and Roy was telling me this story. He says, I think it was Alan Ashton. You're right, Alan. He'll be watching.
Yeah.
Alan Ashton, he was running the galley, and he said to Roy Eyre, he was a good little player. Roy Eyre
Another
was.
team, the galley.
Yeah,
Go on.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's running the galley at this point, and he says to Roy, he says, "I want you to play Sunday for us." And Roy says, "Well, I haven't signed." He says, "Well, we're all right. He'll play you under,
Yeah.
I think it Lewiski's."
Yeah.
So of course he gets booked, doesn't he? So the referee comes over. He says, "Right, son, what's your name?" "Lewiski." He says, "How do you spell that?" He says, "I don't know." He doesn't know.
Yeah.
And then Roy says, "And the best of it," he says, "they got the fine, Galley did." He said, "And Ash was down the canal tavern like, pay this bloody fine for it." He
Brilliant.
said, "Get Lewinsky paid."
Brilliant. Yeah.
Sorry, I digress.
Yeah,
I feel I've just thrown that
you
one
know,
in.
yeah, it was good, really good.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, but that's what it was all about. It was about, and this is why local football teams, I think it's become so popular, Peter, because people of our age group, they anchor after them days when, you know, if you worked hard, basically if you worked hard in business, you'd get on. If you worked, you put the effort in. But nowadays, I don't know, I might be a dinosaur, but all this business is bloody on the phone and not so, I can't be doing with it.
no, I don't go talking about technology because I hate it. You know, I mean, somebody crops up and says, "Get it on the app," and I'm like, "How do you get it on the app?" And
You have to have grandkids, they'll come.
well, yeah, but you know, obviously, I've always wrote things
Yeah,
down.
yeah, absolutely.
I've always used it, I mean, and
The old clipboard.
yeah, and then when phones come out, if you remember, there were them
Yeah,
massive things you put
yeah.
to your ear. But yeah, I've never been. The other thing is, I would prefer to talk to people rather than send somebody a message.
Absolutely.
That I've always thought that you send somebody a message, they don't get the message first of all. Could be
Yeah.
and you get them in front of you. It's talking about
You want to
players
look in
now.
the eye, don't
You get a player in front of you and you talk to him and talk to him honestly
Yeah.
and tell him the truth. Tell him you want him and tell him
Yeah.
make him feel at home. Show him round the ground. Do all that. A phone call saying, "Listen, mate, we put 7 days in for you. What about coming wherever?" And he's got the opportunity there. His manager might be sitting next to him. His manager saying, "Don't talk to him. Don't talk to him."
Yeah.
But having said that, regarding technology, it's massive to have it, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we're on this technology now. That's why I hope this is coming out all right, because we're on the same page with technology, mate.
Yeah. I just think to myself, some of the stuff they ask you do, and I'm thinking to myself, why are they asking that now? And I had to fill a form in about. When you're dealing with young kids yesterday,
Yeah. Oh, well,
you have
another
to
minefield.
you have to fill the form in, and you're just thinking, one of the questions, and I get the answer, one of the questions was, if somebody does well, a young kid does well, and he's done really well, probably scored the winning goal or the winning penalty, and you go and put your arm around him and say, well done.
Oh, bloody hell, yeah.
The question is that appropriate or inappropriate? Now, common sense, you're not,
I get you, mate. I get you. Yeah.
But there's so much going on, John.
And even having that thought in your head, because you think, well, why are you even asking that question? We're football,
But with being young kids, because you hear all the stories that you hear about it, you've got to do it, and it's protocol, isn't it?
I think another thing as well with modern football, the clubs, the professional clubs, have become a production line. Now, if they get a young kid at 13 and 14, relatively speaking, they haven't got to invest that much money into them.
No, that's right.
But they could, that player at the age of 18, so after a couple of years, could be worth multi-millions of pounds.
Yeah.
So what happens, it's a production line of never mind the quality field of width.
Yeah.
And the problem is, for any young people out there, you go play for a team, just a professional team, then coming back, you feel as though you haven't made it. And as you were saying, what you really want to do is just the best that you can be.
Yeah.
And if the best you can be is playing in the Beersham and Tunstall League, fine, enjoy it.
Yeah.
It might be something else. But you've got, and I think as I've seen it, there's so many lads who get disappointed, disillusioned, because they thought they had got a chance of making it. There's very few. The people who make it, Peter, I think the Ronaldos of this world, multimillionaires, they do it for free.
Yeah, you do.
They do it for free, mate. It's just like your good self. With what you've done in your career, you'd have done it for free. If somebody gives you a shilling or two, that's fine.
It's never been about money for me.
I know it hasn't.
Never, ever been about money, and probably, if you think about it, I mean, there was years and years ago, and I'll tell you, it's time now, Ronnie Jackson was playing for me at Hanley.
Yeah, Ronnie.
And Les Wayne used to play for Northwich, Les Wayne. And I was giving him a £5 apiece for playing.
Yeah.
And that was years and years and years ago. Because I wanted them come to play and I wanted them playing in a good team, and at the end of the day, money, I don't know, the kids nowadays, they're asking for phenomenal money. And in all fairness, and I don't know
you should learn how to walk before they start.
I don't know whether I'm being disrespectful to them, but they're probably not worth what they want. But just going back to what you're saying about these young kids playing pro football, I was talking to somebody that's been out in France, looking at young players, and he was saying exactly what you just said. He said, you can go over there and pick up a 14, 15, 16-year-old, probably end up paying 7-8 million quid for him. I'm talking about pro footballers, and then further down the line, you're selling for how much?
Big business. Big business.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, that's my bugbear with, if you like, I mean, I'm a massive Vale supporter.
Yeah, I know you are.
And,
how are you feeling after last night, son?
Oh, don't talk about it.
Go on.
Traumatised. Oh, dear. But yeah, so I've lost my train of thought now. It's
Yeah,
completely
you're a big
gone.
Vale fan.
Oh, that's it. He's done me on about
Yeah,
bloody
yeah,
Vale last
yeah.
night. Stockport 3-0 down at half time. Oh, but I've lost. You'll have to carry on talking now. I'm distraught. Peter on about Vale.
Yeah, well, just getting back to what we were saying, like football, it's changed.
Yeah,
But like you said earlier on, and when we were talking, you do have to change with it.
Yes.
You do have to keep up with the times.
Yeah, if you stand still, you're going backwards.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
I've never been a manager. I've always looked at myself as a player's manager.
That's the name you've got, actually.
Well, yeah, well, whatever. I've always looked at myself as, if I get a player in, I'm going to look after him.
Yeah.
And if I don't, if we end up parting ways, we part away on the right footing.
Yeah.
But for me, anybody I bring into a club, I look after them, and then you keep them longer. Might not, eventually they might move on, but that time you've had with them, you've actually done the right job. And that's my, just years and years ago, Sentinel Cup. We had Sentinel Cup.
Yeah, Sentinel Shield and Sentinel Cup. That's the Sentinel Shield was under 18, Sentinel Cup was under 21.
I'm reserve team manager at Kids Go, and they've asked me to enter a team into the Sentinel Cup. I went everywhere for the best players.
Yeah.
Everywhere. I went running around. I got a guy from a paper shop in Silverdale. He was serving. I knew about him. Centre forward. I had a chat with him. Come in. I got Ray Clack. You remember Ray Clack?
I played with him. I played with him at Vale.
Well, of course you did.
Yeah.
So Ray Clack, he's at Congleton.
Yeah.
He's only 18, 19. So
I won the Sentinel Shield with Vale, Ray.
Well, yeah. Well, I go down to where Ray lives. Had a word with Ray. Ray said he wants to win a Sentinel Cup winners medal.
Yeah.
So I signed him up. Bearing in mind he's at Congleton Town.
Yeah.
The next thing I get Roy Campbell on the phone saying, "What's going on, Wardy?"
Yeah.
And I'm saying, "What do you mean, Roy?" He said, "Well, what are you doing talking to Ray Clackstein?" I said, "He wants to play Sentinel Cup, Roy." Well, here's the script. You're banned from Congleton Football Club from now on. And he banned me. He actually banned me. And Ray played in the centre. We actually lost in the semi-final to Coulden College. I think they went on and won it. I'm not sure. But Ray played. But that's what I used to do. I used to go out and hunt. And over the years, if you look at the forwards I've had,
let's talk about. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to put you on the spot here now. He doesn't know this is coming. I'm going to put him on the spot, right? I'm going to go through a team now, and you're going to mention a couple of every position, right?
Go on.
Starting with goalkeepers. Your two. It doesn't. Well, that's your two favourites. And look, and I know you. Look, I'm putting him right on the spot. So I'll say it for him. If Peter doesn't mention your name, don't get on to him because I've really put him on the spot here. So come on, two goalkeepers.
I don't know. From any level.
Any level, you either played with or you managed. Two goalkeepers that you have in your team.
Tony Bullock.
Yeah.
Who actually sold to Barnsley at Leek Town. Tony Bullock. I'm just thinking, there's loads in there.
Yeah.
There's loads.
Go on, you haven't got time, you got to mention one, because we aren't here all day.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit of fun this is, Peter.
I know, I'm just thinking. David Aiken, years ago played for Kids Go in Leek.
Right.
Yeah, years ago, played in the conference. Obviously, don't forget I go back.
Have you ever managed Alan Ryder?
No, Alan.
He was a butcher.
Played against Alan Ryder in the off-holiday league for Postal Services.
Right, yeah.
He played for Postal Services then.
Yeah, he was a good goalkeeper.
Yeah, Kieran Seal was a good goalkeeper.
Right, so that's goalkeepers done.
Yeah.
Right, we're going the old-fashioned way. Full-backs or wing-backs, call them what you will. But so right-back, who's your two right-backs?
Right back. Tony Osey.
Yeah.
The Kids Go. Left back, Alan Sherritt.
Right. Now your centre backs now. This is going to be an interesting one because I used to rate them. Centre halves. Them big cart horses that stand in the middle of the park.
We had a good one at Leek when we won the league. Martin Filson, he was second to none.
Yeah.
Really good lad, not local, but he was,
Because I always used to say, I mean, I've never managed, I haven't got the attitude for managing, but a good goalkeeper, a good centre half, and a good centre forward, a spine. Now I know it isn't like that now,
No.
but you could build a team and midfielder, and that's how you've got to do it, is building blocks. Because teams, in my opinion, they aren't really about the best 11 players.
No.
It's about the best jigsaw that you can put together.
Yeah,
Basically, we go back to 1966, Alf Ramsey. Now, you couldn't say that team that won the World Cup with the 11 best, you couldn't say Jack Charlton was the best centre half in the world. Probably Martin Peters was world class. Probably, Jeff Hurst. I mean, Jeff was in for Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah, good player, Jeff.
So it was just the style. That's why it's so important with managers to understand. You can get players that might be the best in the world, but they don't gel.
No, they've got to
it's a
fit
team
in
game.
with you where you play, your system, everything. You've got to fit in with the other players. They've got to be right. You know, sometimes they've got to be nuts.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially the centre half.
Yeah, sometimes.
So centre half. So we've got one.
You got one. I'm just thinking. Centre halves. Let's go. When we won the league at Leek, Gary Barras was Scouse lad. He was at Everton, and Gary wasn't the biggest centre half, but he could read the game well. And
that's what
we had him and Martin Filson, and they complemented one another, you know, in the game. So but they were winners. You know, I mean, I had him in the dressing room one time where they were both fighting with one another.
Yeah.
And people
was it over the game though?
Yeah.
Well, that's constructive
half
fighting.
time, And then the lads were looking at me. I said, "Look, just let him get on with it."
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, at the end of the day, one was a Scouser, one was a Manc. You know, and you're thinking, well, that's a good recipe for disaster, isn't it? Yeah. So you know, them two.
On centre halves, as a supporter, because that's what I'm as a football supporter. I mean, I can remember watching Paul McGrath.
Yeah.
And this guy, he didn't train and he got in the team. Because, I mean, he was having his problems. But this guy, if you were a centre half, what's that man? He was positioning, he read the game, he knew what was going to happen before it happened.
Yeah.
You know, they're special players, aren't they, Peter?
Well, you know, and you know they are, don't you?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Right, so now we're on midfield.
Right, okay. I'd definitely say Steve Jones.
Yeah.
Because Almer End boy, you know, he lived in Almer End, followed us around, Stalybridge, Lancaster, Leek. You know, he was at Leek. So yeah. So the other midfield player. Right, we had a lad at Stalybridge, Kevin Parr.
Yeah.
Got 31 goals from midfield when we won the league. We won the league and the treble. So that's a feat in itself, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
He played, and then. Right.
And the stats now would say not only has he scored 31, how many did he make?
Yeah, and he was excellent, Kevin, and he's suffering a little bit with he had prostate cancer. But he's come through that now. He's on recovery, so he's doing really well. But yeah, you know, it's difficult because there was a lot of players locally.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, when you played at that little bit higher level, you know, you're looking at quality. But Jonah, he played for Kids Grove, he played for Almer End, you know, he was a local lad.
I prefer it if you stick to the local lads, because obviously this is for local football.
That's
team.
what I'm saying,
So we're into forwards now.
Forwards, well.
And you've had some belting players.
Well, that's the problem, because everybody's going to be saying, why not me?
Yeah.
You know, but there was loads. Ronnie Jepson obviously is up there.
Well, if you disagree with what Peter says, put it in the comments below, and we'll have a chat about it, and I'll call Peter about it.
And I'll probably agree with you as well, you know. But what I'm saying is, Ronnie Jepson, Mickey Lennon, Matt Reed, who else? Matt Reed, I'm forgetting somebody, Lennon, Dave Walker, you know, they're just full. You can put two of them up top if you like. You know, you can play Lenny and you can play Reedy, you can play Jeppo and Dave Walker. But them four have been really top draw local players. You know, and Matt's now obviously at Kids Grove and he's on the management side of things now, so he's doing well at management. You know, and
right, here's one for you. Who's a player that you were after and didn't get?
Right.
Can you think of somebody? You probably got him in the end, but was there a player that you sort of always admired and you just never got him put pen to paper?
Local players.
Yeah, local lads.
Yeah.
I think you've signed most of them.
Yeah, you've got loads, haven't you? and just try and think, because like you say, you try and get most of them.
Yeah, yeah. You'll certainly approach them if they're any good, won't you? Like,
Yeah. I don't know. It's sort of ones you didn't get.
Just one what you thought, the one that got away, you know, you fancied hooking him and you didn't.
Yeah, I know, but it's. I'm just thinking. Oh God, I don't know. God. Oh, Alan Harrison.
Right.
Alan Harrison. He was
So is there a story behind this, Peter?
No, he was at Clayton St. Luke's, and they had
Yeah.
a good side. And Alan was scoring goals. He played for Hazelhurst, Norton. He played for Norton, yeah, because Hazelhurst went to Norton, like, you know,
Yeah.
he went the name, and he played for Norton, and you couldn't get him away from there.
He just
Because
loved it.
he was with people like Colin Greenwood and his brother Johnny Harrison.
Yeah.
I'd put Johnny Harrison as one of the best midfield players I've ever played.
Yeah.
And he played a lot of football. He was quality on the ball, but a thinker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He reminded me of like Johnny Giles when
Yeah,
Johnny Giles
yeah,
played for Leeds.
yeah.
He'd be on the ball. He was useful. He never give a ball away.
I know it's funny you should say that. I used to have quite a bit to do with Alan Hudson down Richmond Leisure Centre.
Yeah.
And I think I told you, Alan said to me, as that Leeds side was the only side he paid to watch.
Yeah.
They were that good.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I'm saying. You know,
yeah.
Johnny Harrison. He played for Eastwoods, and but he was one of them players. You put on the field, and you didn't really have to tell him what to do. He was like, you know. And he very rarely passed back.
Yeah.
Always passed forward. Always looked for a pass. And he'd
that's what's missing in football today. This side to side.
Yeah.
It drives me.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Up the
But
bloody
John,
wall.
John wouldn't do that. But also, obviously, when you do that, you take risks.
Yeah.
You always take risks
Yeah.
because you want that extra touch on the ball to make that
Yeah.
pass. You know. So at the end of the day, it's a knack.
Yeah.
And he had it. He was quality. You know. And there was the two lads who played for Thurston Brothers. I can't.
Just while you're thinking about that, brothers, what about the neighbour clubs with the Owens?
Well,
Joey and Alan.
Good players.
Often mentioned on local football teams.
And never really went to play for the bigger clubs.
No.
Stuck with their.
Was it Norton he played?
Yeah, and he played for me. Was it me? Did he play for me?
CA.
Yeah, you know, and you couldn't move him. I had a lad from me, a lad named Alan Lockett, winger.
Yeah.
At Hanley, and he was quality, and he was a laugh, you know, and he was just like, but fast, quick, you know, really, really good wingers. Get at you, cause you problems, sit you down on your arse occasionally, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was one of them players like Locke, and I can remember once at Hanley, he got a whack on his head, and Joey Ford, who was another great lad locally, you know, Joey Ford. He was doing our physio at the time, and Alan Lockett come over worried to death, like he got this fucking gas in his head. And he comes over to Joey, and he said to Joey, Joey, is it all right? Is it all right? Joey got a lump of Vaseline and said, of course it's all right, get you on that pitch. You know, but that's how it was them days.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
absolutely, yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Listen, it's been great. I'm sure you've all enjoyed Peter today.
Wow.
We're going to do it again. As I say, I don't know where and when at the moment, but we will do it again, Peter. Peter Ward, legend of local football.
I wouldn't say that, go on.
You are, mate. Okay then, we'll see you all again. Catch you later. Bye.